Welcome back to Fantasy Football Today, presented by BetMGM. I always love this segment every week. It's our running back roundtable. We have an NFL running back on our show here in Robert Turbin. He gives us a good spin about some of the storylines that are happening at one of the more prominent positions for fantasy managers. Heath gives a great take of the fantasy side of things, and we have a fun discussion. So let's start with one of the big topics here, and that is, well, we already talked about this a little bit here in terms of one of the backfields. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I skipped ahead. Let's start with the first topic we're going to talk to. I'm just so excited. I'm jumping ahead. So we got Christian McCaffrey back last week for the 49ers. Did typical Christian McCaffrey things against the Buccaneers. But I want to ask these guys, and Robert, I'll start with you. McCaffrey was supposed to be the best running back this season. Obviously missed the first 9 games. Rest of season, though, you get the whole field. Who's the running back that you're taking from week 11 on to be the best fantasy running back in 2024?
Well, first of all, I just want to say I was a little bit shocked at how much, work the 49ers gave Christian McCaffrey in his return. I thought Jordan Mason would get a little bit more opportunity, but Christian McCaffrey came in and did his thing. I still do, though, think that the number one running back is Derrick Henry rest of season. If you just talk about a guy that's going to be consistent, talk about a guy that's going to be able to get in the end zone, he may not be as prominent in the passing game, but he does catch some passes when the opportunity is necessary for the Ravens. So for me, rest of season, if there's one running back that I could have on my roster, I think I'd go with Derrick Henry.
I'm going to go with Bijan Robinson. Since week 5, he has been the best running back in fantasy football. As a guy who has Bijan Robinson on his fantasy football team, I absolutely loved watching Tyler Algier get stuffed at the 1-yard line 3 times in a row, and then Bijan came in and did the job. And you look at the last 4 games of the season, the Falcons play the Raiders, the Giants, the Commanders, and the Panthers. Bijan Robinson's going to win a lot of people a lot of fantasy championships.
It's been fun to watch. It was fun to watch Derrick Henry. I'm going to take the chalk here and just go with the guy who we thought was going to be the number one running back all season in Christian McCaffrey. And hopefully what we saw against the Bucs is a sign of things to come. Involved in the passing game, certainly getting the majority of the carries, as Robert alluded to, with Jordan Mason, Isaac Guerendo taking a back seat. And I think we're going to see him just continue to get better as he gets his legs underneath him. This was basically a preseason game for him, not in terms of the opponent, but just in terms of getting back to being on the NFL field. We know it's difficult to be in NFL shape. He could certainly be in shape, but being in NFL shape when you got a 300-pound guy leaning on you or certain things that I've been told. Robert obviously has experienced that. But you want to see, McCaffrey just, get back to having his legs underneath him. And I think the best is yet to come, as they are in a dogfight for the NFC West. So it's not like they're going to ease McCaffrey along the way. They are giving McCaffrey workload, 21 touches per game last year. If you tell me he's getting 21 touches per game on a week-to-week basis, I love that setup for him. All right, next topic that we're talking about here. You know what? I'm going to skip this one because we talked about it already. Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins. I want to go back to the Chiefs topic here because Isiah Pacheco coming back soon. Now, again, not expected to play in week 11, but is expected to return to action coming back from the broken leg. He said he would try and unload Isiah Pacheco now from a trade standpoint. Robert, just when you see Pacheco coming back, because we don't know what his workload will be, Kareem Hunt has been fantastic. How do you see this all working together? Kareem Hunt, Isiah Pacheco, do we get back to Pacheco as the featured guy, or are we going to see a 50-50 split maybe in tandem?
I think Isiah Pacheco is going to become the starter again, but I definitely feel like you're going to see more of a 50-50 split between him and Kareem Hunt. You just can't deny what Kareem Hunt has been able to do from a production standpoint for the Kansas City Chiefs since he re-entered the building this season. He's been a heck of a fantasy running back. And so from that standpoint, nobody's better at utilizing their players than Andy Reid and figuring out how to get them in positions to be successful. I like the idea of trading Isiah Pacheco in this situation, but I would also think about keeping him as well because I think he'll still be productive from a fantasy standpoint, even with the partnership or the 1-2 punch with Kareem Hunt.
So, Heath, if I told you that Pacheco is walking right back into his usual workload, right back into it, no restrictions from the injury, he's RB what rest of season? And let's say it's 2 weeks from now.
So his usual workload and the broken leg is just completely 100%
yes.
Not bothering him anymore.
Yes.
In this dreamland, I'd say he's a top 10 running back. I think we've seen the Chiefs lean more heavily on the run. We've seen especially inside the 5-yard line, and that's one area where I think Kareem Hunt might not let go of the job, is because they've kind of had questions about giving Pacheco those carries in the past. But we've seen them run the ball more inside the 5. Pacheco could be a top 10 running back.
And remember, for the Chiefs, they're looking ahead to January and February, so they want Isiah Pacheco at 100%. Then we've seen 2 guys in the last 2 years come back from a similar injury. Tank Dell, we know it took him a little bit of time to get back to being 100%, if he is 100%. And Tony Pollard, when he suffered the injury in 2022, he said it was week 11 when he started to feel like himself in 2023. So we may not see the best of Isiah Pacheco in the 2024 campaign. So just keep that in mind, which is why Heath is saying to sell him at this point. The Vikings have a running back situation to monitor. We'll find out the practice report today for Aaron Jones, but he was not expected to practice at the end of Sunday when he suffered a rib injury, and his status is a little bit in doubt. So, Robert, I'll ask you this. Have you ever suffered a rib injury that maybe limited you at some point during your career? How tough is it to play with for any guys that you know that dealt with this type of injury? And do you expect to see Cam Akers maybe getting a little bit more work just because Aaron Jones not at 100%, even if he is out there?
I've never had like cracked ribs or anything of that nature. I've had bruised ribs. It just makes it hard to breathe out there, man. It's hard to take those deep breaths, obviously when you're getting the ball 5, 6, 7 times in a row. But if Aaron Jones is healthy, he's certainly an RB1 or RB2 from my vantage point. I look at Cam Akers and Ty Chandler. There's no real trust in those guys, if I could just put it plain, fellas. I mean, they've gotten their opportunities. Ty Chandler early in the season felt like maybe, he could be a guy that you could depend on, but he's completely fallen off. And that's why I think they brought in Cam Akers, and he hasn't done much better with his opportunities either. And so, you're hopeful that Aaron Jones is healthy, especially if you have him as a fantasy manager. But if he's not going to play, I'm not looking to, put Ty Chandler or Cam Akers in my starting lineup.
All right, so Heath, I'll follow up with you on the fantasy side of things because we know volume is important. So if Aaron Jones is not there, do you agree with Robert? Like you're just going to ignore, because it's probably going to be Cam Akers, not Ty Chandler. Would you ignore the running back situation there, or would you say, okay, at least a flex, maybe an RB2, just because they're going to get the opportunity for maybe 15 to 20 total touches?
Yeah, I think Cam Akers for me would probably be right in that RB25 range, ahead of someone like an Audric Estime. What we saw last week when Jones went down was basically a 3-to-1 edge for Akers in terms of rush attempts, and he was the only guy in the backfield that saw a target besides Aaron Jones. So I do think it would be Akers touching the ball 15 plus times. That'd make him a good flex, if nothing else.
All right, so we'll see what happens. Again, stay to CBSSports.com. We'll have the latest on Aaron Jones, and if he is able to practice, we'll give you that update as soon as we have it. Let's answer one of your questions here. Again, use the hashtag AskFFT. That way we know you are looking for us and we can help you. And Johnny wants to know he needs help. In a 12-team half PPR league that starts only one running back, would you trade Josh Jacobs and Tyrone Tracy for Jahmyr Gibbs? So, Robert, would you combine two running backs who have been, solid number 2 running backs to get one of those studs in Jahmyr Gibbs?
I would do this trade, yes.
I always like getting the best player in the deal. Jahmyr Gibbs is the best player in the deal. I like it.
I just wonder if the person that Johnny is trading for, if you only have to start one running back, why is he trying to get 2 and give up his best one? So we'll see if he's able to get that deal done. But yes, if you can consolidate and get a better starter than the ones that you have, that's always a smart move to make.